welcome to INIT. I am Dante Knox, lead designer and lead project guy for INIT. And with me is
Zach Alter. I'm responsible for lead sound design and additional level design.
So I want to say, or we want to say, congratulations and well done for activating this first commentary node, which I'm sure you have been able to find. Otherwise, you would not be listening.
Wasn't that hard, really, was it?
No, not really.
Placed right in the middle of the level, I think.
And I think that's where I'd put it.
Big hovery, spinny gold thing.
Yeah, with a little microphone on it, which is convenient. Right, we're going to be talking about all kinds of various design-related things. Maybe not all the time, but we shall see how that goes. And maybe you'll be hearing from other members of the team as well, from QA, that kind of thing, really. So let's play some INIT, and we'll see you shortly. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Seen for the first time here is the technique we use quite a lot in INIT. The in-house name for it is Esh Fade, and the external name for it is that invisible We start introducing this visual mind trip here in Construct 2, so that when it shows up again in a few constructs' time, the player has subconsciously learned to look for it. Esh Fade happened completely by accident, and was indeed the result of poking the shaders far too hard, and also perhaps the result of wanting to throw something at the player that would give them a little "that's cool" moment. The lulls were the result of needing to give the player a way to access and complete certain puzzles and objectives, but at the same time liven up the otherwise lonely atmosphere. A lull, or laugh out loud, with its also convenient internal light source and easy to find yellow hue, was the answer. Originally, through fairly early playtesting, it was revealed the lull spoke too much, and too often. We cut his lines down by about 30, and even then he was too annoying. Eventually, we settled on a few of the more interesting lines, and once the playtesters no longer complained or told him to shut up, we knew we were on the right side of irritating.
As seen in Construct 2, the Esh fading is once again lobbied at the player. This time, instead of an already present visible challenge, the player is presented with a two-step puzzle. 1. Find the route up. 2. Use the route up. The introduction of the game's first secret data port, placed infuriatingly out of the player's reach, but not their view, tempts the player into coming back and trying to find a way up there.
Nuggets.
The start of Directory 2 introduces another new element into the constantly shifting world of INIT: hazards, and alongside them a health gauge. The first hazard introduced to the player is the infamous DRes fluid seen below. Also found elsewhere within this construct is a level-specific challenge. A normally helpful lull, unless the player is quick to notice, is rigged up to become a very real danger. Keeping the player on their toes, as well as using everything they've learnt so far, was the aim of Directory 2.
The visual themes of Directory 2 have retained the first Directory's bright and airy tone. Due to the complete change in aesthetics in Directory 3, we felt that a subtle approach to leading the player into complete darkness was necessary, for two reasons. Firstly, we wanted to lessen the impact of total darkness upon the player, and secondly, we just wanted an excuse to combine striking red hues against dark backgrounds early. When our QA team began testing these later constructs, new gameplay mechanics and complex lighting meant that the head count had to double. I set about breaking constructs into sections and allocating a two-man team to each area. With this method, a construct could be play tested and checked off in around 2 days.
Directory 3 marks a complete change in both visuals and gameplay mechanics for INIT. After the initial ascension into the first real chamber of this construct, several elements that the player has grown accustomed to vanish. Gone are bit buffers and footplates, in are hollow switches, state lights and impassable doorways. The level construction time also kicked up several notches throughout this directory. Interestingly, this seems to have had an effect on players, as playtest timings show that they spent more time in these levels combined than any other directory.
Another new element seen for the first time here is match nodes. Requiring the player to observe an already active match node or template somewhere within the construct, the player must observe and recall these patterns into an inactive match node. A set piece or any kind of environmental device can be triggered by the correct pattern or match inputted by the player. In this case, the powering down of a force field is the reward for successful puzzle solvage. Through development, a technical hurdle was discovered. Using an external controller to program the node resulted in a bizarre flipping of the entire construct, and an oversensitive joystick drove many crazy. To remedy this, we stuck to mouse input only. Besides, not everybody has the luxury of a high-quality gamepad. Up until now, the player may or may not remember that they started the game by being rushed down a hallway on a medical trolley. This is then followed by the integration into INIT's true environment proper. Having hopefully created an impactful and somewhat desperate introductory mood, we left the player to become fully absorbed with their task at hand for the first 2.5 directories. Now, having just narrowly avoided death by the hands of the game's narrowly introduced antagonist Solnir, we reinstated INIT's narrative by bringing the subtle plot off of the back burner and reinforcing the player's overall goal, to cleanse the system of Solnir's presence. Now brought forward into Directory 4 by the shadowy figures briefly seen and heard in the observation room, we start to witness the corruption Solnir's prolonged influence is having upon this seemingly important digital realm. Knowing that an external intruder is stumbling around his system, Solnir will go to great lengths to find and erase the player for good. Development-wise, Directory 4 had to be instantly unique and yet retain the important minimalist feel of the first two directories. Unique to these constructs, apart from the advanced DRes fluid model seen below the data port, is the use of pre-baked lighting.
The engine allowed us to use a third-party light mapping system called Beast, which allowed us to create some gorgeous-looking environments for the player to explore, whilst keeping game resources to a minimum. This particular construct uses 2 separate lighting passes, screen space ambient occlusion, and elongated penumbra for high-quality shadows at no extra rendering cost. The occasional crumbling of this construct required a pre-calculated and externally rendered physics simulation. Even though only 9 rigid bodies are used, it's always good practice to take this load off of the CPU and import the simulation as a pre-calculated rig instead.
The introduction of a new mechanic at this late stage of the game meant we could really start to implement some of the niche concepts that had been devised over the last 15 months of development, and not worry about having to insert the concept into later constructs. This particular mechanic, an interactive filter, or the lens of dichotomy, as we came to call it, involved the entire construct rather than one area of it. This mechanic was considered too advanced for repetition into more levels, so it remained here in a one-off instance in Zelst. Programming the lens took a mere 3 hours, and the initial reaction once this construct was figured out by the player triggered a broad, stupid smile on the playtesters' faces. Mostly mine.
Each directory has a hidden data port and a secret construct that usually takes some external work on the player's part in order to enter. Initially, root access was a hardcore coding affair for the player, where using ancient DOS-based commands were required. This was later scrapped and a far easier system was put in place. All the player has to do now is choose from a list of predetermined commands, but they still require the skill to put the commands together, which you have done, so congrats.
Each secret construct is unique in its own right. Here, Divine, with the central theme being set within the clouds, or within the heavens, explores the feeling of being lost within a world of vertigo, or so we hope. As the player climbs higher and higher, the wind grows ever more powerful. Eventually, once the player has ascended the tower in the distance, the clouds disperse and reveal their prize, a nice, shiny bite. I wanted these 5 little worlds to be personal, inasmuch as if I was stuck in any one of them, I'd be quite happy to remain there. The names too resonate a peaceful and slightly ethereal tone. A special reward for completing constructs in the main mode, these hidden worlds offer an extra incentive for the player who truly wishes to get the most from their INIT experience.